wanted to tell the story of the people who helped to make me who I am.
Opening remarks, we've had the same people pushing the same solutions to this problem for decades.
It started as a routine morning on The View, the long-running daytime show where opinionated hosts tackle hot-button issues. But this particular day shattered the predictable rhythm. With cameras rolling, a young political figure named Karoline Leavitt stepped into the studio. Nobody expected the exchange that followed to leave Whoopi Goldberg, arguably the most dominant voice on the panel, completely speechless. What happened next set off a shockwave of lawsuits, advertiser exits, and whispered rumors that ABC might finally be done with the show's never-ending string of controversies. In this video, we're delving into the meltdown that rocked The View to its core. We'll explore Whoopi Goldberg's rise to daytime royalty, the jaw-dropping moment she lost her composure on live TV, and how the fallout from her heated showdown with Karoline Leavitt reignited old scandals involving Carrie, Underwood, and Elon Musk. By the end, you'll see why critics are calling this the final straw, and why The View might be on the brink of collapse. When The View first hit the airwaves, it promised something fresh, a diverse panel of women discussing current events, pop culture, and politics, all with honesty and humor. Viewers were captivated by the mix of personalities, from the sharp wit of Behar to the earnest takes of more conservative co-hosts. Over time, it became a cultural phenomenon, shaping daytime talk shows for more than 2 decades. As the cast evolved, so did the show's impact. Ratings soared whenever a major celebrity guest came to debate, or when heated spats erupted between the panelists. The program built its reputation on being unfiltered and fearless. ABC loved the buzz, and the advertisers enjoyed the attention. But with risk came consequences. And nowhere was that clearer than with the...
So this is, I'm doing The Stand for CBS, Stephen King's The Stand.
Yeah. The addition of Whoopi Goldberg. She brought big star power, a comedic edge, and an outspoken style that guaranteed headlines. Yet as her influence grew, so did the controversies. For years, fans tuned in to watch Whoopi clash with co-hosts over politics, social issues, and any topic that sparked her passion. She had an uncanny ability to steer conversations and shape the show's tone. Critics claimed that the program had become dangerously one-sided, leaning far left and sidelining conservative voices. Others insisted that The View was simply reflecting the perspectives of its hosts. Either way, people kept watching. But lately, the tensions behind the scenes and on stage have intensified. ABC executives have wrestled with ballooning legal threats, claiming that the show's unpredictability is a liability. Meanwhile, the panel's once playful spirit began to wane, replaced by a sense that each morning's broadcast might spiral out of control at any second. And then came the morning that changed everything. Long before she took the moderator's seat, Whoopi Goldberg was a household name, a comedian, actress, and one of the few entertainers to achieve an EGOT, an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony. She was beloved for her quick wit and unmistakable voice. When she first joined The View, her humor and star power invigorated the show. Yet, as time passed, her trademark candor frequently sparked public outrage. She made comments about the Holocaust that many found historically inaccurate, prompting calls for an on-air apology. She fiercely defended certain public figures in ways that baffled audiences. Her unwavering stance on wokeness made her either a champion of progress or a symbol of hypocritical preaching, depending on which side of the political fence viewers occupied.
I'm and my brother, and so I'm telling about the bits and pieces I remember.
Multiple defamation suits started creeping up, painting Whoopi and The View as repeat offenders in the court of public opinion. ABC managed to either settle or downplay most of these issues, but behind the scenes, executives weren't happy. Some believed the controversies were good for ratings. Others feared the backlash would permanently stain the network's reputation. Through it all, Whoopi remained steadfast, unbothered by the swirling allegations. She had navigated trouble before. Why would this time be any different? Then Karoline Leavitt arrived. Confident, articulate, and unafraid to push back, Karoline didn't come to The View to be intimidated. She had a track record of doing White House press work at a remarkably young age and wasn't the typical flustered guest. In short, she was everything Whoopi's critics had been waiting for. Someone who could stand toe-to-toe with the daytime TV icon and hold her own. Karoline Leavitt's appearance began in typical View fashion. The panelists welcomed her with polite smiles that quickly turned to smirks. The conversation, however, took a dramatic turn the moment Karoline challenged the show's incessant praise for wokeness. She referenced how certain policies, labeled as progressive, might actually stifle free expression or funnel public funds into questionable social programs. That's when Whoopi fired her first shot, implying that Karoline owed her entire career to wokeness. The statement was condescending, suggesting that Karoline had no accomplishments beyond benefiting from a movement that Whoopi staunchly defends. The audience let out a half-hearted chuckle, but tension rippled across the set. Usually, a bold claim from Whoopi is enough to send guests scrambling. Yet Karoline remained calm, her gaze steady. With a measured tone, she laid out specific examples of government funds being diverted to activism-driven initiatives, gender studies in unexpected corners of the world, children's programming that bordered on political indoctrination, and more. She connected each dot methodically, leaving no room for flippant dismissals. Suddenly, it wasn't just about Karoline's opinion. She was presenting facts. And facts are harder to brush aside with sarcasm. Whoopi tried to cut in multiple times, her usual tactic of bulldozing the conversation with quips or authority. But each time, Karoline pressed on, unwavering. The rest of the panel grew visibly uncomfortable.
Always included President Trump, in contrast to the way he was censored by other platforms in years past.
Joy Behar attempted to crack a joke that fell flat, her laughter replaced by awkward silence. Then came the moment that no one saw coming. Whoopi Goldberg, famed for her rapid-fire comebacks, froze. For a few painful seconds, the set went quiet, cameras capturing Whoopi's unsettled expression. She opened her mouth to speak, paused, and then shut it again. It was the kind of stunned silence you could feel through the screen. While a few audience members tried to fill the void with nervous applause, the rest just watched. The unthinkable had happened. Karoline Leavitt outmaneuvered the show's most formidable host on her own turf. That single exchange would ripple far beyond the studio, igniting a storm that ABC couldn't contain. Word traveled fast. Social media was instantly flooded with clips of the encounter. Memes and highlight reels sprang up, replaying the exact moment Whoopi lost her composure. But that was just the spark. The View was already knee-deep in legal problems, and this confrontation put everything under a harsher spotlight. First was the Carrie Underwood incident. According to leaked emails, segments mocking Carrie's decision to perform at a presidential event were allegedly orchestrated for ratings. Carrie fought back with a $1 billion defamation lawsuit, claiming the show had intentionally maligned her reputation. ABC executives were forced to settle in a hush-hush agreement. Details were scarce, but insiders hinted it was a hefty payout. Then came Elon Musk, who had his own run-ins with the View panel after he purchased Twitter. The hosts accused him of enabling dangerous speech, labeling Twitter policies under his watch as extreme. Musk took legal action, alleging repeated falsehoods damaging his standing and his company's.
If you had a thirst for knowledge, you really couldn't live without it, because there were very few books to read. So,
in hushed corridors at ABC, people started to wonder if The View's outspokenness was pushing the network into a legal corner it couldn't escape. The Karoline Leavitt drama threatened to become the tipping point. Already battered by lawsuits, ABC found itself once again in a crisis. Sponsors who had stuck by the show through earlier controversies began to voice concerns that a new defamation suit might be looming. The phrase "too big a liability" started popping up in internal meetings. Some executives murmured about toning down the show or pulling it all together if the legal threats kept piling up. Behind closed doors, everyone asked the same question: was this all worth it? Daytime talk shows live and die by their advertisers, no matter how big the ratings. If sponsors pull out, the production can't sustain itself. After the tension between Whoopi and Karoline went viral, a handful of major advertisers began reevaluating their partnership with The View. Emails to ABC's sales team revealed that these brands were wary of being associated with what they perceived as repetitive public meltdowns. This wasn't just about who was right or wrong politically. Advertisers want stable programming that appeals to broad audiences. The View was now a magnet for controversy, good for short-term buzz, catastrophic for long-term brand safety. The exodus began slowly, with smaller companies stepping away. Then bigger names followed suit. Suddenly, ABC's golden goose was teetering, its once stable revenue streams in jeopardy. Producers scrambled to reassure the sponsors who remained, promising changes in tone and stricter oversight of heated segments. But it wasn't so easy to walk back years of cultivated drama. The show's loyal fanbase expected fireworks from Whoopi and Joy. Scaling that back might stabilize the brand, but risk losing the viewers who craved confrontation. ABC was stuck in a no-win situation, forced to ask if it was time to cut ties with the very personalities who had once made the show a sensation. The corridors at ABC's studios buzzed with speculation about The View's fate. Staffers whispered that top-level executives were beyond frustrated with Whoopi Goldberg's unpredictability and the show's ballooning legal battles. Some producers even started referring to The View as the lawsuit factory, a sign that discontent was hitting its peak. Meanwhile, Joy Behar appeared to be in a constant state of damage control on air. Whenever Whoopi made a controversial statement or left an awkward silence, Joy would jump in with a punchline or pivot topic. This had worked for years, but the cracks in their dynamic were now impossible to miss. Reports also leaked that a few behind-the-scenes staff threatened to resign if the environment didn't improve. They alleged that the tension on set had become overwhelming, with last-minute changes and frantic directives from network lawyers. Publicly, ABC insisted everything was fine. Privately, executives mulled over a stark choice.
And it's really moist and delicious, and when you wake up, you smell it in the house.
Keep Whoopi at the helm and gamble on ratings plus lawsuits, or part ways and attempt a reboot that might salvage the show's legacy. In the weeks following Karoline Leavitt's appearance, the public scrutiny on Whoopi Goldberg intensified. Clips from her past controversies resurfaced, painting an unflattering timeline of on-air remarks that had landed her and The View in hot water. Each day, fans wondered if she would address the incident directly or apologize. Instead, she mostly sidestepped the topic. But as the tension peaked, Whoopi finally confronted the subject during an unscripted moment. On a Monday morning broadcast, she launched into a rambling defense of wokeness, peppered with half-formed rebuttals to Karoline's points. She seemed agitated, searching for a cohesive argument, but never quite landing on one. The rant quickly devolved into disconnected statements about people who don't have anything to say, and folks who ramble on. That unsteady monologue became the meltdown heard around the world. Clips went viral in minutes, accompanied by commentary about how Whoopi had lost her edge. Supporters defended her as someone simply overwhelmed by negativity. Critics saw it as proof that she no longer had substance behind her stance, just loud opinions. The tension behind the scenes, already at a boiling point, threatened to explode. The day after Whoopi's meltdown, rumors swirled that ABC executives had held an emergency meeting. Some sources claimed the network was ready to negotiate an exit package for Whoopi. Others said the plan was to let her take a break and reassess her role. Whichever version you believe, the outcome was the same. Her future on the show had never been more uncertain. Speculation about potential replacements lit up social media. Fans tossed around names of prominent media figures who might step in. Could a fresh face save The View from its own controversies? Or was the damage too deep? People debated whether the show needed a complete overhaul, a brand new cast, a revamped format, or even a total rebranding. All the while, Whoopi remained uncharacteristically quiet, fueling talk that her departure was imminent.
Don't get divorced, then it's not a problem.
Yeah.
If you are going to get divorced, then it's not a problem because prenup is there.
Yeah.
Just do it and shut up and get happy.
A few loyal fans pushed back, warning that losing Whoopi would strip The View of its last true star power. Others argued that her constant headlines had done more harm than good. ABC kept tight-lipped, offering only a generic statement about ongoing discussions and the show's dedication to diverse perspectives. But for longtime viewers, it felt like the end of an era. The unstoppable force of Whoopi Goldberg, once so commanding, now teetered on the brink. For years, The View balanced on a razor's edge between captivating television and chaotic controversy. Whoopi Goldberg played a central role in making the show a cultural mainstay, but that same boldness also dragged it into relentless legal troubles. The standoff with Karoline Leavitt exposed everything that had been simmering beneath the surface: the tension among the hosts, the network's fear of never-ending lawsuits, and a growing disconnect with viewers and advertisers who felt the show had become more noise than substance. Now, ABC stands at a crossroads. Will it choose a total reinvention, removing Whoopi and possibly Joy in favor of fresh voices? Or will it double down, hoping that controversies continue to translate into ratings, even as sponsors walk away. The meltdown that once seemed like a momentary blip may actually be the defining event that changes daytime TV. Is there a chance for redemption? Sure, anything can happen in the unpredictable world of broadcasting. A new lineup might restore balance. A shift in tone could entice advertisers back. But one fact is undeniable. The View has reached a tipping point, and the outcome could reshape the entire landscape of daytime talk. What do you think? Is it time for The View to end its run? Or can the show salvage its reputation and continue under new leadership? Let us know your thoughts below. And as always, stay tuned for the next deep dive into the biggest controversies shaping our culture.